So there were commandments and rules, and those commandments were based off of doing what God wanted you to do first and doing what others want you to do second. And that's defined as love. Love is not defined in the Bible as an emotion or feeling, oh, I like you so much, I need a better word, but a sacrifice of your own will to the will of others. That's what love is defined as. For instance, there's a burning house. Who would you run to the burning house for? The more you love a person, the more likely you are to run to a burning house for them. You'll run to a burning house for your kids, but you may not necessarily run to the burning house for a friend, which you should. You run to a house for a friend, but you may not run to a burning house for a stranger, which you should. You may run a house for a stranger, but you may not run to a burning house for your enemy, which you should. So the more you love the person, and I don't mean emotional love, but you're willing to sacrifice yourself for the other person's benefit, and that's the biblical definition of love. Bible defines, and definitions are based off of the source. So there's proprietary definitions that Microsoft has for their technology, and that's Microsoft definitions. Just like the definition of Christianity. It's not someone who says they're a Christian. The term is invented in the Bible, is defined as a follower of Christ. And so if you're not a follower of Christ, you're not a Christian, and that's just because the definition, you can't do anything about it. You just have to stick to facts here. The first, 4 commandments are about loving God. The other 6 commandments are about loving others. So it's basically 2 commandments in the Bible. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and spirit. And the others is love others as yourself. Those are only 2 commandments. The 10 commandments is just an expansion of those. So you've probably heard the Living Waters ministry, like with Evangelist Ray Comfort, where he'll ask you, well, we might as well do the test now in case you haven't seen it. And that's not where I'm going with, that's just a little bit at the end of the video. Is we may ask you, have you lied? Well, what do you call someone who lies? So what does that make you? A liar. Have you taken something that's not yours? Have you let something rot on your credit score, borrowed money, not giving it back? Have you downloaded videos or music illegally? Have you watched a movie that someone uploaded that wasn't the official one that you need to go and rent or pay for on YouTube, but you saw the knockoff? It's so many. Have you been honest on your taxes? Have you smunched your resume when you get a job? Here, have you slept with someone who is in a covenant with someone else, relationship or marriage? And in that other covenant, they didn't want you to have violated. All of this is the form of theft. So what do you call someone who steals? A thief. So what does that make you? No, a lying thief. Have you ever used God's name in vain? Which actually isn't just using it as a 4-letter word of disgust, but also using his name as though it's worthless. Taking his name into vanity. Even those who don't say OMG use God's name in vain. Where there are people who pray but don't think that something's going to happen. Maybe they're going through something in a hospital and they don't want God to be the doctor. They want him to be the nurse who assists the doctor. That's using God's name in vain. He's God. He's a creator. He doesn't need to just cheer you up. He can actually heal you. He's the designer and engineer of your body. He's not the jackleg mechanic down the street who needs to take a piece of your muffler and put it into your heart like doctors do. He created this reality. So we know that makes someone a blasphemer if they are using God's name as discussed. We've heard people curse with the name of Jesus Christ. They don't curse with the name of Muhammad. They don't curse with their mother's name. They only curse with the name Jesus Christ. And we have to think about why. Why is it that everywhere in the world, people only curse with the Christian God? They don't curse with any other God. They say, well, because Christians, this is okay. We noticed areas of more danger among Christians than other religions. I think in India, they still will set you on fire if you disrespect their gods. In Pakistan, they'll still kill you if you disrespect their beliefs. In China, with the Buddhists, you still get locked up and chained up. In North Korea, if you don't worship Kim Jong, you can get locked up and tortured, raped. I've never heard of any place on the planet where Christians will do anything to you if you disrespect their God. they'll get upset. They'll say, I pray for you. But I mean, even in Israel, the Jews will kill you. I think pretty much every religion on earth will kill you for disrespecting their God. I think Christians are the only ones who won't kill you. Everyone else will. So whatever arguments you have against Christian, logically, if you're holding to that, then you're arguing whatever religion you believe and every other religion except for Christianity. So if your argument is, well, because Christians, they say this, all right, well, other religions do that times 100. So you're basically, okay, we won't go into there. But we have to stay in facts, stay in logic here. I'm not diving off into, because it's good to have faith, but understand faith is not about believing things that don't make sense. It's about not needing for it to make sense before you obey. You don't need God to explain the details of you before you take action. That's what faith is about. It's not that he's telling you to do something that doesn't make sense. Everything he does makes perfect sense. However, if you want to grow in God and get closer to the Creator and connected, then you need to learn to do things without needing the explanation first. And that's what faith is. But there are explanations for everything. And there's no reason why anyone should fluff off into la la land when we talk about religion. And so as long as you are connected with God, you can get those answers. And yes, if people believe because of those answers, they do get a less reward. They are used less. They are deemed less than someone who will just follow orders. It's like in the military. If you're sent into a military operation or in a business or whatever, and there's an order from the CEO or from the commander to go and do something, and if they have to sit and explain to you all the details as to why and prove it to you that it's a good idea before you do it, you're not going to get promoted. You're not going to be given a bigger set of responsibility.